everybody. Welcome back to the Royal Read. So glad you decided to stop by and see what I am reading on today. Well, before we do that, I just want to remind you if you enjoy my content, please give me a thumbs up. Smash the notification bell, and of course, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. All right, let's get to the read. All right. What am I reading on today? Well, I am reading on King Charles, and I can't hardly let that other word come out of my mouth. Queen Camilla. And and they're supposedly going to Australia. And I found this on skynews.com.au. And it says King Charles and Queen Camilla to embark on a scaled back Australian tour in October as doctors fear for the monarch's health. I mean, is it just me or does that sound weird? Number one, he's supposed to be still having cancer treatments. And correct me if I'm wrong, but as you continue cancer treatment, that's when you start to get sicker and sicker. You get sicker, and and the side effects of cancer treatment is more at start, like in the middle and last part of it. But yet and still October is a ways away. How do he know he's gonna feel up to that? I wonder. Him having cancer and all. Charles and Camilla just had a state dinner with the emperor and empress of Japan. I just watched it. Well, little snippets of it. He, I have just never saw anything like it before in my life. If he has cancer, he is the poster boy for, you know, cancer because, I mean, he, you know how grueling a tour is? And he's off to Australia, which I think that's what, like a 20-hour flight. Like I said, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but it's a long flight. But him and Camilla is off to Australia. Let's read a little bit about it and then we'll discuss. Like I said, the headline, it says King Charles and you know who to embark on scale back Australian tour in October as doctors fear for the monarch's health. King Charles and Camilla are reportedly set to embark on a tour to Australia in October, but their days down under will be scaled back under doctors' orders as the monarch battles with his health. King Charles and Camilla are reportedly set to embark. Wait a minute, I read that already. Charles, 75, and wife Camilla, 76, will tour Australia and the Polynesian island country of Samoa in 2024. It is hugely significant first trip down under as king and queen consort. I put the consort on there. Uh, The king who is still receiving weekly, the king who is still receiving weekly treatments for his undisclosed type of cancer has vowed to make up for lost time, having just returned to public duty in April. When did that change? I know he said he was going to do whatever he could do, but he done returned to duty, period. That's freedom. However, according to the UK Mirror on Saturday, the Australian leg of the King and Queen's royal visit will be scaled back to around 6 days. 6 days is a long tour. The couple will enjoy a break of up to 2 days before they travel to Samoa for 3 days, where they will incorporate a visit to the Commonwealth head. Um, wait a minute. To the Commonwealth head government meeting. A hoped visit to New Zealand for the couple is, however, likely to be ditched. So they doing everything except going to New Zealand. Naturally, it will be a bitter disappointment for both sides to not have the opportunity for the king and queen to visit New Zealand. But of course, all are aware of the king's ongoing health and the need for him to pace himself. And an insider told the Mirror. It is very much hoped that there will be further opportunities in the future. The competition is now on between Australian states and territories to host Charles and Camilla. Who believe that? If they get a load of what Australian people are saying on Twitter, I don't think it's going to be much of a competition. And the president, well, isn't it called the president? I don't think he's called the prime minister of Australia. You know, he's a Republican. He ran on abolishing, you know, the monarchy, or them as, being the head of state. But it just all seems so weird to me. It does. It's as if Charles have not missed a beat. That's why I have said it from the beginning. I did not suspect Kate. I didn't. They got me on Kate. But Charles, I always said that I did not believe Charles had cancer. I mean, if he is getting, now, peep this. When he went to visit that cancer center, those people that was at the cancer center was actively getting chemotherapy. One woman was sitting there getting chemotherapy treatments. She had to drip while um, while Charles was talking to her. Then he talked to another man who was there to get his chemotherapy. And he told Charles that he had lost his taste. And he asked Charles, well, Charles kind of chimed in and said, "Me too." So when he said "me too," doesn't that indicate that Charles is getting chemotherapy too? And we're supposed to believe that Charles get chemotherapy every week. He gets chemotherapy, and he's able to keep up the schedule on which he is keeping up. He is able to look the way he looks. You remember when I did my video about Kate's return, and I had uh, Michael Strahan's little girl. She's 18, I think 18 or 19. She's suffering with cancer. She just got through with her chemotherapy, her round of chemotherapy. And she looked like it. She looked like she's in a fight. What is it about Charles that look like he in a fight? What is it that about Charles he's acting like he's in a fight? Go and look at Charles as he welcomes the emperor and the empress of Japan today. Look at Charles at the state dinner. I peeped it. I peeped it before I jumped on here. It's nothing about Charles look like he done had a chemo treatment this week. I understand that sometimes people don't lose their hair, but it's rare. It's not the rule, it's the exception. Charles have not lost 1 inch off his childbearing hips, not one hair off his head. He looked like he has more hair. His When he was out today, his cheeks were just as rosy, and he looks as good as he ever looked. He don't look like he works for the wear at all. And he's not behaving like he is. Look how much work Charles had put in. He just got through with what is Ascot? He was there every day. And now he's doing the state dinner. Well, they did they got in the carriages and rode around. They let me rewind. They had a ceremony. Excuse me, something, but they had a welcoming ceremony, and he had out all these things, all these seats for people to be able to sit there and watch them. And because when someone comes for a state visit, they inspect the troops, and they had all these seats out, and nobody was there. Nobody. Very few people. And then they loaded up in the carriages, and I guess they rode around somewhere near Buckingham Palace, and it was very few people. It was a guy on Twitter, I think it was a guy on Twitter, posted a picture of it, and he said, "Look at that crowd. They are at least one deep." And they were. It was very sparse. And then on top of that, the poor empress of Japan had to wear a mask because she's allergic to horses. And what do? Stick her in a carriage with Camilla. And we all know what Camilla is. But I think she was referring to the ones that were pulling the carriage. I'm just saying. Don't get me to dragging Camilla, because I'll be on here forever. And I said I wasn't going to be long today. But I get on that deal, and I don't know when to stop dragging Camilla. But yeah, and then they got, I guess they made it back to Buckingham Palace. They all got redressed up, and they had the state dinner. And there Charles was. William was there too. And there was Sophie flirting with William. Now I threw that out there. I'm just saying. Because every time she see William, she seemed like she can't keep her hands off of him. Have y'all noticed that? Just saying. A lot of people say it's in a motherly way. I'm not judging it either way, but it's weird. Because every time she see him, she just skinning and grinning and act like that it's a joke and there are only two people in on it. I mean, it's pictures of her when they went to Ascot. Same thing, skinning and grinning. Weird. I'm not gonna say anything about it because I don't have a feeling either way. If it's something, it's just weird. If y'all have felt that too, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. But it's weird to me. But let's get back to the dinner. It was like, I mean, he looks good as he can look. And there Camilla was. Every time something like this happened, like the state dinner and stuff like that, I think about Diana. I really do. And how different it would have been with her if we had well, not we, if they, because I'm American, but if they um had Diana for the queen. I mean, when I said if I was, if it was Diana and I would say Queen Diana, it wouldn't get stuck in my throat like the other one. And she would have been there looking fabulous, charming everybody. I often think about how things would have been so different for Harry and William. William might have, he might have turned out to be a better person, a more decent human being, especially to his brother. But I digress. But it's hard for me to believe. This is one of the reasons why it's really, really hard for me to believe that Charles has cancer. And now this trip to Australia. 6 days. That's pretty grueling for somebody who has cancer. And if he's still going to be doing his treatments, which I kind of doubt, I kind of doubt that's a long time. October is a pretty good ways away. But for a man who's doing weekly cancer treatments, he's at Ascot every day. And now this state visit, it really makes it hard to believe. I had it started when my video with Kate, when Kate returned. And in the corner of my thumbnail, I put bamboozle, hoodwinked, gaslit, run amok. And that's the way I feel. I feel about both of them. And it only gets stronger, you know. And I was hoping, doubt would seep in, and I would say, well, maybe, I don't know. But I don't doubt what I'm saying at all. When I say I don't believe Charles has cancer, I'm not doubting that. I hope to doubt it because you don't ever want to believe that people would do something like that. But one thing that family has proven time and time again, century after century, because they've been in, they've been in power for over 1,000 years, as Barron says, that it's no low too low. So yeah, they would do that because I also too, I watched a clip that was on one of the squatties accounts on X, formerly known as Twitter, where they had this calling, on this calling show. I think her name is Storm or something. She's with the Jeremy Vine show, and she has her own little secondary show. And they had this call in, and it is really getting bad for the royal family. People are starting to wake up to the fact that their biggest achievement is being born, that people should bow and scrape to someone that just they're only for the only reason of that they came out of the birth canal within this family. And it is changing. I feel it. I see it. And one of the sycophants for the royal family was on there. And then you had a young guy. I don't know what his name was, but I know he has a lot of liberal views. And it started out talking about the election and it ended up talking about the royal family. And the caller who called in, woo, it's getting bad. They absolutely want to get rid of them. And if you go on some of like GB News or something like that, they post on X, and you go on like the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail has stopped posting as much as it used to because people would eat them up on Twitter. Now, on their website, now, it's a lot of people who are sycophantic and, in the comments there. But when they post something on Twitter, they eat them up in the comments. So it is really, really getting to be dire for them. And I think they feel it. How couldn't they? Why wouldn't they? When they had the trooping of the color and those people, it was probably what, maybe half or a little more than half of the people that showed up for Queen Elizabeth on the daily, every birthday. It would be full for Queen Elizabeth. But Charles, not so much. And you could see it on their face while they were standing out there on the balcony. And it's going to even be worse when Willie Leaks get there because he is not going to want to work. He is not going to want to do the day to day. He's going to be too busy looking across the pond trying to figure out what Harry is doing so he can do like Harry. But see, it's as if he don't understand. Harry is not won't be the sovereign. The sovereign, you don't get all the goodies and not get the boring stuff. But he sees that Harry doesn't have to do the boring stuff. But Harry's not the sovereign. But I bet you this, if Harry had been born the sovereign, he would have been a good king. Just like Diana said, he would have did the boring stuff. Because what did Harry say? He said anytime they asked him to do something or go somewhere, he did it. He did it. But see, William is not like that. And he it the monarchy is spiraling, and it's gonna get closer and closer to the drain, especially when Willie leaks. Because they think, and all the royalists, they really think, well, once we get rid of Charles, it'll be better with Will and Kate. No, it's not going to be better with Will and Kate. And I'll tell you somebody who smells it. He smells that it's not going to be better with Will and Kate. And he wrote a paper about it. Well, he wrote an article about it. And that's Richard Eden. You can When he was on that show, I saw him on the show talking about it. That's why he want Harry to come back. He was talking about Harry needs to hurry up if he's coming. That's why he want him to come back. Cause he smells it. He smells how it's gonna be and he wrote an article about talking about. He said if it's gonna be like this, if it's gonna be like what William's friends are telling us it's gonna be. He said, how did he put it? That the monarchy is in trouble or something like that. And he kind of talked about it, the number of the people, the working roles and whatnot, because he the small number when Willie get in there will probably be him and his children. Unless George is cut from a different cloth than his mom and his daddy, he ain't gonna want to work either. Charlotte might be like Harry and work a lot. I don't know. And Louis is Louis ain't no telling what Louis gonna be up to. But it's in trouble. It's in trouble. It's in trouble, and they smell it. They smell it. But I'm gonna give. Sometimes I get sidetracked. Y'all have to be patient with me. Sometimes I get sidetracked because stuff will pop in my head, and I have to share it with you. But I'm gonna get back to Charles going to Australia. And I know everybody's probably not thrilled with it, and everybody knows it's gonna be boring. But I can't wait. I can't wait till you go to Australia. Why, you say? Because Charles have lied and said he had cancer to try to make himself more popular, try to get them eggs from going over his head, and hitting Camilla and stuff like that. His team and come up with this to make him more popular, and so he can travel to other countries and he get a crowd and stuff like that. But wait till he get to Australia. Now Australia have done everything. They have done their part to run Harry and Meghan down. Those shows over there are horrible. They don't do nothing but lie. I think a lot of them are Murdoch owned, because that's where he come from, and then came to our shores. And everywhere he go is just like the plague. It's where democracy dies. But anyway, I digress. So they have tried to lay the groundwork where he would get a really good reception, but I don't think he's gonna get the reception that he's expecting, because this is why the whole cancer thing come in. So people shouldn't boo a cancer stricken king, or his dutiful wife that takes care of him and stays right by his side. That's the narrative. And everybody should want to come out and see him. But I'm telling you, I think he's going to be not so pleasantly surprised. Now, will he get a good reception from um, the news media over there? Of course he is. Of course, they're going to pump it up. Will he get a good reception from the government over there? Yeah, he's the head of their government. So, yeah, he's going to get that. But is he going to get a Harry and Meghan or Diana type reception? No, he's not. No, he's not. I think this is the first time he ever carried Camilla over there. The last time he was over there, wasn't he over there with Diana and treated her like a dog because she was popular and people wanted to see her and told him, where is Diana? And I never will forget, Diana said that he got real upset with her because people were saying, we're on the wrong side. Diana is on that side. We should have went over on that side so we could see her instead of him. Instead of being proud of his wife, knowing that she did not intentionally, because to the point where it's a picture of Diana crying and a crowd of people are around them. Wonder who did that. So if he expecting that kind of reception, carrying Mr. Ed with him over there, as he got when he took Diana with him, I think it's going to be a rude awakening. And I just love that for him. And I can't wait to see it and talk about it. And I don't care what nobody say. A man who has cancer treatment on the weekly is not going to be talking about going to no halfway around the world to 2 countries, 6 days on a tour. And like I said, don't look no worse for wear. Though as time goes by, more and more, I feel comfortable in what I said a long time ago. Charles does not have any cancer, and neither does Kate. This was all a plan they hatched up in the boardroom and it's all about popularity. It's all about, I think, more so that their popularity dropped under 50%. And they reported it. They reported it as that. And that's what all of this was about. It was about being able to go to Australia and people show up, not throw eggs at you. It was about getting people to feel, a little more warm and fuzzy about Camilla. That's what that whole hospital production was, her going to. I'm not saying he didn't have a problem with his prostate. I have no idea. But her going back and forth, playing the dutiful wife every day, sometimes twice a day, making sure the cameras was there when she went in and out. That's what all this was about. It's all about that. It was about popularity. It was about that. Getting the people to love them, to appreciate them, to stop throwing eggs at them, to warm up to Camilla. And unfortunately, it has not worked because the second part of their plan just not work. If Charles had worked his plan a little better on the second part, but what they wanted to do, they wanted to play it like the Queen. You know how the Queen stayed. Uh, the Queen worked until a couple of days until she died. But you know what? The Queen looked like she had been in a fight for her life. She didn't look like Charles. She didn't look like Kate. See, I don't forgot I don't forgot Kate's name already. That goes I'm gonna say something about that too before we go. The reason I have forgotten Kate's name. But yeah, the queen looked like she had been in a fight. Her little hand was purple. Her face, she was white as a sheet. She had no color in her face at all, but she managed to put a smile on her face and she did what she needed to do, and that was to meet the new prime minister. She did that. But nobody didn't doubt that the queen was sick. How many people showed up saying the queen is not sick? The queen is not. Everybody was saying, I think the queen might be sicker than what they're telling us. I think she might be really, really sick. You know why? Because the queen looked like somebody that was in a fight. She didn't show up looking like Charles and Kate. The queen looked like she was powering through. That's where they messed up on their second part of their plan. They chose to try to imitate the queen, but they did not. They couldn't imitate the most important part, and that was looking like you had been in a fight because you have not. You hadn't been in a fight. Not like the queen. And I'm gonna say this about why I have forgotten Kate's name. It's because I never cared. I never cared. The whole thing about where's Kate and all the conversation that was on Twitter and TikTok and stuff like that, and they what they call trolling, just asking where Kate was, and what they call conspiracy theories, but all that was questioning what you had gave us. All that has come to an end because at the end of the day, nobody really cared about Kate. All we cared about is she was alive or not. That's it. And that's why everybody has gone on about their business, gone on with their lives, and could care less about Kate. And they really thought that it was this whole little thing was gonna make Kate's popularity just oh go through the stratosphere. And when in actuality, all it did was make everybody go on about their business and struggle like I did to try to think of her name. Right now, don't nobody be estimating where's Kate. Nobody cares. And when she came back showing up looking like she had a face tweaked, looking like a shiny new penny, it really made people not care because it insulted their intelligence. And that's the same thing with Charles. That's why his popularity hadn't improved because they insult your intelligence and want you to believe that this man who has been to Epcot, not Epcot, uh, um, what is it? Ascot every day this week, betting on horses, jumping up and down, hugging people, kissing people in the mouth, and now doing the state dinner, all that that he has cancer, and we're supposed to feel sorry for him. We're supposed to have that pining feeling that, ooh, if we lose him. People had that feeling towards the queen because it was real. They don't have it now because they saw through it. It's been, I mean, the gig is up. And like I said, you don't see on TikTok or X or anything like that. Kate's name don't even come up. Nobody cares. They only cared because she was missing and she had small children. And it was a mystery. And they kept feeding us all this crazy, all these pieces of the puzzle, and everybody loves a good mystery. That's it. And now they have shown themselves to be for, what they are. People have moved on. And that's especially in America. That's why I said Americans, we will move on now. That's why it's so weird watching the UK media being an American that after 6 years they still can't move on. We would have moved on and would have just, well, not saying that we would have forgotten Harry's name, but we would have moved on. We would say, well, this is what he wants to do, okay, and we would have moved on. But I bet you they had 2 or 3 segments about Harry today. I saw where Royston has wrote another piece about Harry and Meghan. About Harry going through his court cases, sizing up the ones he done won and the ones he had lost and the ones he got coming up. Why? They haven't, I had to comment on it. I had to. I just could not help myself. It's on Newsweek. And I wrote on there, why do you care so much? Why is it so hard for British to move on? It's been close to 6 years now. Why aren't you moving on? Why are you still writing about them? I just don't get it. They are not working roles. I put that little ditty in there too. They are not working roles. Why do you care so much? There's a whole prince and princess of Wales on that island over there. A whole king, a queen consort over there on that island over there. It's a whole Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh over there on that island. And all sorts of princesses and and aristocrats over there. But yet and still, here you are writing another article about Harry. Make it make sense. But I digress. I digress. Like I said, I just find this whole tour to Australia weird for a man who has cancer. I find it very, very weird. And like I said, the more as time goes by, and the more these people are the front facing royals of Great Britain. I miss the Queen. Because one thing about the Queen, and I am not a royalist or a person who believes in the monarchy, because I'm black. Okay, they started this whole thing about enslaving us. So no, and plus I'm also even if that part wasn't true, just you have a position because you come out of the birth canal. So no, I'm not for that. But the reason I respect the queen, well, I still respect the queen. I won't even put it in past tense. It's because she had standards. She held up an ideal. Was she perfect? Of course not. Is it things that she got wrong? Yeah, like Margaret, and she should have made sure. But I think she was elderly. I think if the queen had have been younger, Harry and Meghan would have their security. But they was able to blow smoke on, up the queen's skirt about that security because she wrote the letter that she wanted them to have security, but she did not know that she would have the power to make them have it. But Charles was doing his sneaky stuff behind the scenes. But she, and I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it one day. I have the picture of the Camilla and the Queen side by side, and the Queen looking so elegant, stately, royal, and Camilla looking like a woman who looking for a handbag and rushing out the door because she's late and she's half dressed. She always looks so slouchy to me. No matter what at the age of the queen, she always looked elegant. Even her last engagement, she was had a stick. Her little hand was purple. She was elegant. She was elegant. And like my point I made earlier, she looked like she was in a fight. These people don't look like they in a fight. They look like they trying to run a game on us. Enough said. All right, I am looking forward to Australia. I am looking forward to seeing if they're going to get the same reception that he did with when he brought Diana, or if they're going to get the same reception that Harry and Meghan got. If not, I'm going to drag them for it. All right, y'all. So glad y'all stopped by, and that's the Royal Read for today, and I'll see you later.